Hi, this is Mike from Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and on today's video I'm going to show you how to perform a USB BIOS flashback on the MSI X670E Gaming plus Wi-Fi motherboard. Now this is actually a pretty simple and straightforward thing to do, but for some people the whole thought of flashing a BIOS does fill them with dread and fear, which really it shouldn't do. There are a few things which can go wrong, but generally it can be recovered unless there is a specific fault with the motherboard. Now I will say straight away before we start into the video, we've done loads of these videos and the process is all pretty much the same, but if you're looking for a specific motherboard, that's why we do these additional videos. Now, something which a lot of people ask is, can you do this on a fully built PC? Now the answer to that is quite simply, yes you can do. The reason why I do this on a bare motherboard is, well, two reasons. One of which, it makes it easier to film because we've got a nice open clear view of the motherboard itself, and also this basically removes any other faults from the system. So maybe you've got a problem with your RAM, maybe the GPU, maybe an NVMe drive, basically anything else which is connected to the system, even things like your front panel connections could potentially prevent your BIOS from being flashed. So just to recap, yes, you can do a BIOS flash on a completely built system, or you can do it on a bare system. I prefer to do it on a bare system whilst the board is bare before the PC is built. Obviously it makes more sense. And also for those of you that have got a fully built system, which is actually working already, if you've got the system up and running and you've got access to the BIOS, then it's actually safer and easier to flash the BIOS from actually within the BIOS itself. So certainly if you want to do that, you can do. We've done numerous videos on that as well. It's, again, very straightforward to do. But for a lot of you, you're probably watching this video because your system either isn't working or you've got a motherboard which doesn't support the processor you're trying to install on it. In which case you may not have the old processor or may not wish to put the old processor back onto the board to get it all back up and running. Anyway, hopefully that clears up some of the questions which undoubtedly we will get in the comment section. And again, if anything I'm saying here doesn't make sense or it hasn't quite sunk in, please do feel free to reach out to us in that comment section below. Or alternatively, you can head over to our Discord and you'll get a much faster answer there. Links for that will be in the video description. So with all that intro out of the way, let's get down to the meat and potatoes of this. So what do you actually need? So obviously you're going to need the motherboard itself, which we've got here. You'll need something for the motherboard to be resting on just to keep it safe. We're going to use the motherboard box for that. That's an old tried and tested favourite. Also, you're going to need your power supply for the computer, and you'll need two cables from the power supply connected to the motherboard. You'll need two, that's all it requires. One of which is the 8-pin EPS or CPU power connector, which goes into the top corner of your motherboard. And also you'll need the 24-pin main power connector as well, which plugs into the main power connector on the side of the motherboard. And also to be able to download the BIOS, you will need to have access to a working Windows PC, ideally Windows. You can do it on other operating systems, but yeah, it can be a little bit murky trying to get the drive formatted correctly. If you want to, it's entirely fine, but I would suggest a Windows PC. And also to actually put the BIOS onto something, you're going to need a USB flash drive. Now, up to 32GB drives are absolutely fine. You will need to format this drive in the FAT32 file system. If you've got a larger drive, you can get away with it. You can create a smaller FAT32 file partition actually on a larger drive, but I would recommend against it. It's a very hit and miss whether it works or not. Generally, it tends to not, but yeah, ideally 32GB or less. You can get away with a drive as small as around about 64MB because the flash file is only 32MB. So if you basically take into account some of the file allocation tables, etc., 64MB is about the smallest you can go to, but the largest is 32GB. Anyway, hopefully that has cleared that up. So that is that out of the way. Let's head over to the computer now and I'll show you how to download the BIOS, how to prepare your USB drive, and that part of the process. Okay, so the next part of this is to actually get the BIOS itself. So head over to the website for this motherboard. This will be linked in the video description as well. Make sure you get the model name right because there are lots of different models which are all very similar, and also worth doing a visual check just to make sure that your board looks like the one actually on the website here. So head over to the support tab, and in the support tab you go over to BIOS where it says drivers and downloads here, and you scroll down a little bit and you can see which BIOS versions are available. Now depending on how old your motherboard is and what the exact BIOS on the board currently is, that will mean which BIOS you can get. Now generally I would always say just go for the very newest BIOS. That is the safest bet. The newest one is going to be probably a good idea because it's going to have all the fixes and things like that, and also support for the latest processors. But if your motherboard is a couple of years old maybe, then you can't always jump straight to the very latest BIOS. So if for some reason when you're trying to do this BIOS flash and it's failing or it can't be read, there are actually preventions in the circuitry to prevent it jumping certain BIOS revisions. So you may find yourself going down the list a little bit more to a slightly older BIOS and doing it kind of piece by piece. So I would generally suggest, if you can, jump at the most kind of like 1 year at a time. That's a pretty much fail-safe way of doing it. If you jump more than a year or so, then potentially you may experience problems. So anyway, we're going to just ignore all that, and hopefully for the sake of this video it's going to work first time. We're going to go for the very latest one. Now also, people are going to ask me here, is it worth getting a beta version? Now generally the beta versions become a normal full version very shortly after, but due to the kind of the throughput, the speed that these BIOS releases are, and also the fact that a lot of manufacturers, once a motherboard kind of isn't the prime concern, they do generally tend to be slower on making the kind of changes or validating the changes in the system. So yeah, beta versions are fine, and if you've got no other option, if you're on maybe an older board like a B450, it's absolutely fine. But for this particular case, I'm going to go with the latest one. So this is from January of this year. We're currently in the middle of March, so it's a couple of months old, which has mean that the beta version, which is 19.3, has now been confirmed as a full BIOS release, hence 19. Anyway, let's download this. So we'll click on download, we'll save it to an easy location. So I'll choose the Windows desktop, and it shouldn't take very long at all. It's only a very small file. Once that's done, we can minimize this window. We don't need that any longer. We can head over to our compressed folder here, and we need to right click on it and choose extract all to decompress or extract the file. When you're ready, click on extract, and now we've got a new folder, and inside of here we have a BIOS file. Now you'll have two files. One is a text file, which is just information, and we've got the actual BIOS file itself. Now currently this is in a state where it can be recognized by the motherboard if we're not doing a USB BIOS flashback. If you're doing this from in the BIOS itself, this is absolutely fine. You can just copy this to your flash drive and you can put it into your PC and flash it. But if your PC is not working and you are using USB BIOS flashback, we have to rename this file. Now in order to see the file extension as well, don't forget, sometimes that might be hidden. So if you go to view, you can choose this section here, show, and you can choose file name extensions and also hidden items possibly. Make sure those are showing so that you can actually see the BIOS extension. Otherwise we won't be able to rename it correctly. Now to rename it, pretty straightforward, just a couple of clicks on there, remove all of that, and it wants to be known as MSI.ROM. Now a lot of people ask me, why is it MSI.ROM? There's no real rhyme or reason to it, it just is. That is what you have to do, otherwise the system just cannot recognize it at all. So when you're ready, click enter, and it says there, do you want to rename it? It will become unusable, blah, blah, blah. Yes, we do. And there we go. So that is our file ready to be put onto our USB flash drive. So I'm going to grab the USB flash drive now, stick it into the computer. Now this particular drive has already got a USB update on there. Not too sure what motherboard that was from, but anyway, we're going to format the drive just to be on the safe side. So find your USB drive, right click, and we're going to choose format, and just make sure that it's FAT32, and you can set the allocation size to the defaults, and if there's anything in the volume label you can remove that as well. You will have the tick box there for quick formats. When you're ready, click on start. You'll get a message saying that all the data on the drive will be removed. If you're happy to do so, click OK. If not, you want to move any data which might be on there to another location, click cancel and do that. But we're happy, so I'm going to click on OK, and it says there format is complete. So that is our drive now completed. It is empty, and now what we can do is go back to our folder on the desktop, which is this one here. We're going to right click on this, we're going to choose cut or copy, choice is yours, and then you can go to your USB drive, right click and choose paste, or you can do Control C, Control V, entirely up to you. Make sure the file size is the right length, so 32 kilobytes or 32,000 kilobytes even, or 32 megabytes. That is absolutely fine. So we can close this down, we don't need this anymore, and we can remove the USB drive from the computer and head over to our little test bench setup. Okay, so now at this part we are now ready to perform our USB BIOS flashback. So let's get the motherboard set up. So we're going to use our box just as something to protect the motherboard itself. Now we do actually need to connect up some power to this thing as well. So let's go ahead and do that. So the first one we're going to do is our 8-pin EPS connector, or the CPU supplementary power. On this board, there's two connections over in the top left-hand side. You can plug it into either one of the ports, it's absolutely fine, doesn't really make a great deal of difference. So I'm just going to plug that into there. And also we're going to need our 24-pin main power connector, which goes onto the side of the motherboard. Do that here. Also as well, I should say, make sure the power supply is off at the time when you're doing this, just in case. And make sure that clicks into place nicely. Again, you don't need any RAM or anything on the board. If your system's pre-built, like I said already, it's absolutely fine. Just carry on doing it as you would normally. Now, next thing to do is to put our USB drive into the motherboard. Now, on the back of the motherboard, you'll notice on the I/O shield, it actually tells you which one it goes into, and it's highlighted there. It says USB flashback, and it is the top one there. So we'll plug our drive into here. Only other thing to do is to make sure you know where your USB BIOS flashback button is. That's in the top corner here. So that is it. We're pretty much ready to go. Now, what we're looking for with this is when we turn on the power, we'll press the BIOS flashback button for a couple of seconds, just wait till it starts flashing. Then it should take somewhere in the region about 5 minutes. The flashing speed will increase, decrease, and then increase. And then at the end, it should be done. It should turn off the system, power supply should turn off. Potentially it might try and reboot itself as well. You'll obviously still get the CPU red LED on because there's no CPU attached. But as long as it goes through that process for about 5 minutes, then reboots, then that is basically all you need. So let's turn on the power supply to start with. So that's now on, and we'll press and hold this for about 5 seconds or so and wait for the flashing to start. So 1, 2, 3. You can just about see there is a red LED on the outside edge of the box, or the board even. So you can just about see that reflect on there. It's actually hidden in behind the I/O shield there. Sometimes you can see it through the back depending on the light, but yeah. Yeah, that's absolutely fine. So it's flashing a few times now. Basically, if it stops flashing now, or it stays solid, the little flashback light in the back there, that means that the drive cannot be recognized or the file is incorrect. So basically you want to retrack your steps, make sure you've got the right motherboard and the right file, etc. and the drive's FAT32. Potentially as well, you may need to convert the drive from GPT to MBR. We've done a separate video on that, so I'll link that in the video description as well. But really, that should be absolutely fine. Another thing to bear in mind as well, MSI, because they are a massive manufacturer, they often make these motherboards for other companies. So if, for instance, you've got a PC from someone like CyberPower PC or iBuyPower, those types of things, any of the kind of the large retailers that have a custom pre-built system, they may have their own custom BIOS on the board. So even though the motherboard looks the same as the retail version, it may have a slightly different BIOS because of certain settings have been changed, or it's got a logo which shows when you power up the PC for the first time with their own kind of retail style animations on or whatever. If that is the case, head over to the manufacturer of your PC's website. You may be able to find an appropriate BIOS there. Again, if you're having any problems with any of this, feel free to head over to our Discord or just drop a comment in the comment section and I'll do my best to help you out. But this looks like it's going okay. The LED is still flashing away there, so we'll just have to be patient now, wait for it to continue doing its thing, and we'll come back when it's finished. And there we go, we just heard the power supply click off and the LEDs have turned off and it's just started flashing again very briefly. And the motherboard is trying to boot up, but there's no RAM and there's no processor, so yeah, that ain't gonna get very far. So at this point now, the BIOS appears to be flashed. It took around about 5 minutes to do, so that is pretty much the right time scale. We've now still got the LEDs on the motherboard for CPU and RAM because there's no CPU or RAM, so that is completely expected. So if you're happy, the LED light isn't flashing anymore, so we can quite safely turn off our power supply and wait for the LEDs to go out and obviously remove our USB drive. We don't need that anymore. So at this point now, the choice is yours. You can either go ahead and put on your processor some RAM, maybe some other devices as well, just to see if you can actually get a display, to get a VGA signal onto a monitor. Or if you're waiting to do your build and you just can't wait, just yeah, go ahead, get it all done, get it all built up, and hopefully it should be okay. But generally, as long as it takes around about 5 to 6 minutes to flash, it's absolutely fine. If it takes longer and it keeps on flashing and it's gone past kind of 8 to 10 minutes, it basically isn't going to work. So again, go back to the steps earlier, make sure you've got the right BIOS for your motherboard. Potentially, if you've got one for a motherboard which is a OEM type board, not a retail one, it will try and read it, but it will just fail because it fails the checksum. So it will just flash and flash forever. The same as it will do if it's the wrong BIOS for the board. So anyway, I've whittled on for way too long. Hopefully this video has been useful and has helped you out of a bit of a tight spot if you're struggling to get your system up and running. If you've enjoyed this video and you found it helpful, smash the like button. If you want to see more content like this on a daily basis, maybe consider hitting subscribe and the chime notification. That way you'll be notified of all future video releases. But for now, I've been Mike. This is Mike's Unboxing Reviews and How To, and hopefully we'll catch you in the very next video. Thanks for watching.